Hello and welcome back. I am Darcy Darkness and this is Confessions from the Darkside. How are you? How are you all in this wonderful community? And welcome to Confessions from the Darkside today, because we present to you reviews from the Darkside. We did speak about this early on when the podcast started last year, that we were going to be doing reviews. Yes, that's right, reviews. We're going to be doing reviews of horror, sci-fi and fantasy, which again opens so many doors of so many movies, and giving you our discussions, our breakdowns, and I'll try and be as spoiler free as I can, but for reviews, unfortunately, you kind of have to give and take with that. But we've had the year of the cranky side, and also scary crime stories, and now reviews. So we are adding so many different new content that we've already discussed into 2024, because we want to give you as much content as possible so you can enjoy us in multiple times throughout the week. If you're not sick of hearing my voice, well, you will be. Probably actually sick of hearing it myself. So I'm going to get the disclaimer out of the way first. We are so full of so much adult content that some of you may think this is unnecessary and some of you may think that this isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out, but I will say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, then regular scheduled programming will continue. Shall we get started? Are we ready? Well, what are we covering today? Who are you going to call? That's right, your mum? Your friend? No. Ghostbusters? Wokebusters? No. Let's just give it a chance. Then we can check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, shall we? What are your thoughts on rebooting or continuing the story? Not talking about that monstrosity before, because that was way more sexist than I think they realised when they released that. It was woke as it could be, and that was right at the start. I did not like it. My son wanted to see it because he loved the Ghostbusters, because we had introduced him to the Ghostbusters, of course, because myself and my husband obviously grew up watching these movies. And we wanted him to enjoy them and see things that we watched as kids as well. The previous movie, we've seen old and new cast in the storyline to tie up Egon, as the actor had passed on in real life. They could pass the torch on and continue with the rest of the cast that are still around, along with the storyline of Egon's daughter and her kids, their teacher Gary, who's played by the gracefully talented vampire Paul Rudd. He's a vampire because the man never ages, man. He's just the same guy from Clueless, it seems, all the way to now. So now they live in the old firehouse where the original movie took place, and between the family and the rest of who is left of the team, they have expanded themselves, getting back to what they originally were doing, which was investigating the paranormal and preparing the future legacies on how to protect our universe from spectres waiting to bust out and make us feel good. Do you see what I did there? Busting makes me feel good. So we start off with a flashback to a simpler time. An old library, it's 1804, a secret society apparently known for being light-fingered with artefacts, and when the fire department arrive, the room is completely frozen. A figure in the corner holding a spherical object and a frozen party of people that are shattered like glass all around them. Here we fucking go. The movie starts right off the bat with an upgraded ectomobile, which is the vehicle, if you weren't aware. Where have you been? And the action starts from the get-go. So there's a few similarities to the original actual movie that was out in 1984 compared to what they've done now, because I think they're trying to tie in, the nostalgic feel with the people who maybe bring in their kids, or people just going to the movie because it's obviously... Nostalgia makes us feel good. It gives us like fuzzy feelings inside. And it takes us to a place where things may have been simpler, things might have been better than they are now. You never know. It's setting a wee memory in there, and this movie kind of does that with the nostalgia all the way through it, which I kind of like, because they are trying to, yes, it's its own movie and it's part of that universe, but they're continuing on a story, which is a new story, but they're still using an old concept of having the original cast there, which again I really, really enjoy, because Bill Murray's in there, we've got Venkman's back, and again Ray's back, Winston's back, and obviously Paul Rudd was in the last movie. We also have Janine, she's in there as well, and it's really good to see them all back together and them working with, again, our generation and the future's generations, which is really, really nice to see. And they even kept like original type of soundtrack, similar music, similar pieces of music, should I say. They didn't use Breathe, which was a good song. It's when they switched off the containment grid in the first movie, and the spectres were coming through the ceiling of the the firehouse, that song, and then you see the spectres like moving all like kind of all trippy and shit around the city, which it wouldn't have just been the city, it would have been all around the fucking world, to be honest, if that happened, because it was a crazy catastrophic event that shouldn't have fucking happened. But anyway, they've actually brought back a character that was in the original movies, and it's the mayor. He's been the mayor of New York for 40 years. He's still fucking there, and he still has fucked up plenty, but loves to blame everybody else. It's a typical fucking politician, isn't it? Or member of the public figure, whatever the fuck. He dislikes the Ghostbusters, if you weren't aware. Even the new improved Ghostbusters, after their last outing, they managed to do what they do best, which is make a fucking mess. But they still saved things, prevented things from happening. He saved the day, but they neglect to remember that their service was needed, and without them, the outcome would have been catastrophic. So Phoebe, who is Egon's genius granddaughter, has put the mission at risk due to her being underage, and it's being against the law for her to be included, even though she has much more intelligence to spare than the adult surrounding her. But hey, her ideas in her brain have saved the world on multiple occasions, but age matters apparently. So Phoebe is benched, and she's not happy. She's a teenager, which, again, well done for angering a teenage angst. Love how they still show some normality, being told something is wrong and being told no. That's going to get through to a teen, especially an intelligent teen who has nothing but this as her identity. Way to push it away when she needs you the most. She finally has found her purpose and you've taken it away from her. But guess what? Does she walk away? No, she doesn't. She continues without your knowledge. If you are a parent, you should fucking know that. She's away to seek answers elsewhere, because if you think she's letting this go, you are sadly mistaken. So Ray still has his occult bookstore, and he decides to help Phoebe investigate. Ray's basically a child, even though he is an adult old enough to be our grandfather, or maybe great-grandfather in this day and age. But he's a child. He is the guy that's responsible for thinking of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, because I think apparently he would be innocent. Yeah, we've seen that movie and the size of that fucker. Okay then, Ray, you can't be fucking trusted. Say yes. Winston said yes. If you're a god, you say yes. So that's what made me laugh about that, the fact that she said, aren't you retired? He goes, aren't you benched, basically? And she was just like, whatever. So they're both not supposed to be doing it, but they do it anyway, because two wrongs make a right, don't they? No. The hijinks here, you know fine well, it's going to happen sooner or later. So they're working on a case without the parents and without her brother Trevor, who's now 18, and he's again talking about how he's more mature, he needs more responsibility, he wants to drive the ectomobile and all that, and his mum's just like, no. Was trying to explain when I was speaking about it to someone, was he's the parent, and parents want to hold the burden usually a wee bit longer for your child. So yes, they're going into the big bad world, yes they're 18, yes they're adults, but you still want to take on that responsibility so they don't have to, so they can enjoy their life and they can have a young carefree teenage life, even like going to college and stuff like that. Parents still at the end of the day will protect their child, and they want to protect them from everything. So when he's going on and on about being, oh, I need more responsibility, well, again, the way he acts in it, he's not responsible enough to be driving the ectomobile, not driving, just it's a big responsibility, but he again has to learn the actions of consequences and stuff like that. The same with Phoebe, but Phoebe's younger. I think she's like 14 or 15 the way they describe it, or is it 16? Who knows? It's because she looks quite young, so it's incredibly difficult to tell. So the spherical object that came into Ray's occult bookstore is being sold by the guy from Eternals. His grandmother has died, and he's trying to sell her shit, basically, so he brings to Ray occult books, and of course Ray sees it and he just has to have it because of the hieroglyphics on it and shit. He's just like, ooh, is this like mystical or is it just a really cool paperweight? I would probably go for the latter, but you know fine well that this is what the whole episode really is about. Apart from the outside children wanting to be adults and adults telling them no, it's about obviously this object. The spherical object, they find out what it is when they go to the library from the original movie. And now, sorry, spoiler, if you can remember what happens in the first Ghostbusters movie, well, it happens again with the book reading entity. type thing. So they kind of like added that in, which was good. They also have another character that I'm going to talk about again because I feel that the character is portrayed wrongly and incorrectly in the movies compared to the animated show. So we have Patton Oswalt, who is a member of the Tin Hat Brigade. He's a tin hat enthusiast, and he explains who the people at the start of the movie were. They were this Manhattan society, and what they did was they took, or they nurtured, they liberated artifacts from all over the globe throughout the generations, and it was all rich white stuffy dudes basically, just like it's like a pissing contest of what things they could get, I think, and what things they could most likely liberate, not steal, liberate. So that's in 1804. They were called, the fire department go in, and there's ice everywhere, absolutely everywhere, like I said before. And it was when the sphere was actually activated, it seems. So the spherical object, again, has come into Ray's possession. He informs them of who brought the item here and what happened to the organisation. Again, it sounds about right for rich people, rich white dudes, stuffy white dudes in the 1800s to go about stealing people's shit. That sounds about right, doesn't it? So taking things without permission and taking things that are not rightfully theirs always turns out well, doesn't it? It doesn't, because that could be another cursed thing, that you've taken something even though it wasn't you personally, but the person who liberated it in the first place. The bad luck's going to follow, of course. We find out the Guardian of the Sphere is there to protect the world from an entity coming back and regaining strength and power enough to take over our world. The brass figure at the start holding the sphere, well, this is their job. It's passed down through the generations to protect our realm from harm and keep this entity that took so much to take him down, not out, just down, and banish him basically, and the generations of fire. Phoebe ends up all alone playing chess. So it's kind of like the half the movie is about her finding herself and not feeling like they fit in with the world. And again, I'm not sure if they're trying to make out that a lot of intelligent people or highly intelligent, high IQ humans can't actually make friends. I think it's absolute bullshit. I said not everybody who's intelligent has autism, because autism, again, people who are intelligent kind of don't want to be around fools. That's the way my dad was. He just didn't tolerate fools at all. But there were certain things that obviously stand out with the way they're trying to, like, she's a teenage girl who's been told no. She's older in the head, yet she's not mature in life. And it's like her age is keeping her back from things, even though her family's like protecting her and stuff. So Phoebe sneaks out and she's playing chess in the park, as you do. She starts playing with someone, actually playing chess with someone, and she doesn't look up. And the person she's playing chess with expected her to be shocked because she was a ghost. And she said boo, and she's not scared in the slightest at all. Phoebe seems to be similar to people who struggle with social situations. They're using the fact that she has no friends and she doesn't feel like she belongs at the moment because she's having shit. There's shit going on. They're using that as a weakness, so she's easily manipulated. Yet her weakness is actually her strength. So her struggling with social situations and people, yet she's missing out on the things that others may take for granted. I am one of these people. And I don't feel as if I missed out on anything. I've always been this way, and I find my own company fine. I don't need others to have fun, and I feel Phoebe in this way. I feel that Phoebe is this way, but she has a friend with some matches, a ghost, but seems to be just at the right time when she feels so hopeless that she has no one. Not coincidental at all, is it? So the ghost is significant. So remember, ghost, chess, match, boo. So the ghost is significant, and while she leaves the street, the dark things start to change around her, like the street lights start to go off. Again, coincidental, her meeting Phoebe? No such luck, I don't think. You can hear like a spooky, weird voice as well, and a feeling in the way the music is as well in the background. She wants to be Phoebe's friend, but is she wanting to be Phoebe's friend because she wants to be Phoebe's friend, or is she evil? Does she have an ulterior motive? what is she doing and why is she doing it and why now, since apparently Phoebe seems to play chess here quite a lot. So no, there's just no. So Phoebe goes to the paranormal centre that Winston and Ray have been creating to continue the findings and help them understand the different spectres in case of the apocalypse. Better to be prepared for anything and everything. If you can remember from the original movie, the guys, the Ghostbusters, before they were Ghostbusters, Egon, Ray, and Peter they had tenure, was it not? I thought they had tenure at a university, but they were all at university and they were all like studying the paranormal, different parts of science and paranormal and everything like that. So it's kind of like them, again, using their past into the future with their knowledge from then and their knowledge from now and everything in between, and then putting it into this paranormal centre so they can train like-minded scientists and individuals to help prevent bigger catastrophes and the apocalypse probably in the future. And also obviously that can work and coincide with the Ghostbusters as well. So that's really good. Phoebe takes she has the artifact. She makes a silly decision in the paranormal place, the centre. They have a machine that extracts usually the spectre from the object or the item. And again, that means because they actually study the spectres when they actually extract them. So she does that and it kind of starts to... It goes awry, put it that way. She also puts herself in there. So she does. She puts herself in there thinking she can be with the ghost. The ghost actually did care about her. She would not want her to do that. She would not want her to extract her soul, her essence, to become a ghost. She wouldn't want that for her. And that's the thing about it. The ghost is selfish, obviously has an ulterior motive for herself. We find out that this entity who was taken down but not fully killed or taken out of the game can only do what it needs to do to a ghost, a spirit, spectre, not to a real live flesh human being. The ghost apologises because she was promised she would see her family again. Now, do you think that that's going to happen? No. Again, the machine extracts your essence, and I found that incredibly kind. Essence, it's hilarious. So, again, the ghost we've now realised is not who she claims to be. The guy who was in Eternals, his name is Nadim, and they go to Nadim's house, his apartment, and he opens up where he took the spherical object from, and it's like this brass gold type sex dungeon. I literally looked at my husband, I was watching, I said, that looks like a fucking sex dungeon, holy shit. And the actress who's there, who actually says it looks like a sex dungeon, I was pissing myself. I was like, oh my god, the things that would have been acceptable to see in the 80s is still a wee bit different. They would maybe have made an inside joke, but they wouldn't have shown you it like that because they would still want to keep it a PG. Because we didn't have 12s, it was like UPG, type thing, and 12A and all. We didn't have all that shit. We find out that he inherited his grandmother's apartment and everything that was in it, but he didn't listen to her talking about their history, their lineage and the legacy and things that their family would have done and the responsibilities of their family to pass the sphere down through the generations to protect this realm from the entity bringing hell on earth, basically, and fulfilling his plan. So he didn't really listen. So he doesn't know how to control the fire and make it to bend it to his will. So he has to actually practice, and they're using a Zippo lighter. When it comes to the big deal, the lighter's empty, dumbass, and they joke about how he's practiced and all that kind of thing. There's so much. Nadim can control the fire, as we find out at the end. Literally, he just gets there at the end. When it comes to his part, he falls short, typical. When you run out, Philip, mate, you have one job to save the world, so please be prepared. Have multiple lighters on you. Be that guy with all the lighters. Collect all the lighters. Just have a lighter on you. Fire is your weapon, and we may need it one day. You never know. A lot of it's kind of all over the place, the film, because it was jumping from like the Phoebe storyline to the actual storyline that was about the actual plot of the story. I felt like everything to do with Phoebe actually kind of overtook and overshadowed the actual main bad guy, the villain. If that's what it felt like, it was more about her and her knowing her place and the parents passing the torch on, and her. Again, Gary gets called Dad for the first time and he gets all mushy because that's him accepted by Phoebe. He was already accepted by Trevor already, but not by her. So he gets all mushy about that. So it's again tying up stories that they're now a family, even though they were a family already. There's a lot, again, I said, similar humour styles, especially when the original team is on screen. There's certain parts of the movie that you know what's going to happen, but you're not sad about it because you've been waiting for it. So that's what I kind of felt when they were bringing the original cast in to the movie to actually take over this entity. Like they're all going to, do it together, as dodgy as that sounds. I really did enjoy this movie, but I think the last one kicked you in the feels more, and the daughter not having a relationship in that film or being estranged from each other, and then he died. And that's when you kind of see similarities to obviously Egon and Phoebe, and her mother not understanding Phoebe. The way she didn't understand her dad, and she even said her own mother didn't understand her husband, and that's why their marriage didn't work. So there was a lot of aspects of family and relationships and connections in that movie when it was the reboot or the soft reboot where they actually had Ray and Winston and things like that in that movie, and Venkman. And then you had this movie that's come out and it's continuing kind of a similar storyline where the mother struggles to understand her child, and it's kind of replaying it. But at least with this film, they've kind of filled in some plot holes of Egon and other things and other parts of the story, but they've created new plot holes. That's the thing. Will there be another film? I'm not entirely sure. I guess 6.4 out of 10, I think. Let me see. 6.4 out of 10 out of 29k people actually reviewing it. The original movie got 7.8 out of 10. Now, I would give it 10 out of 10 because, for fuck's sake, that movie is awesome. And think of the amount of... This was like the first movie like this, so 7.8 is shockingly low. The second one gets 6.6. Afterlife, because again, that was the first soft reboot, got a 7 out of 10, and I can understand why. This character that I had just forgotten about was there's slime on the ceiling in the firehouse, and obviously that's for Slimer. Again, without getting into too much detail, there was a lot about the old building, the old equipment, and the things they used to prevent catastrophic events. And now, renewing, starting again. Even the containment grid, they made the design of Egon's work in the paranormal centre, and that's what they wanted to do for the containment grid type thing, because they kind of still focused around the containment grid because that was Egon's and everything that they did originally in the firehouse. So there was a lot, again, hidden little Easter eggs, I would say, where they were trying to start afresh, start anew, but continue the story on. So, like I said, Slimer was part of the team really in the Ghostbusters animated series. He was actually a part of every episode, basically. So they kind of made him like a monster in the movies, but they kind of made him friendlier and more lovable in the animated series, which makes adults who watch the cartoon, obviously, and adults who watched the movies as kids can remember. So having Slimer in there was another wee thing, but I liked the fact that they did tie in a bunch of things, filled in some plot holes, but they created new ones with the new storyline. Ghostbusters, do you feel like you've busted enough ghosts? Does it make you feel good? Who are you going to call? Have you watched the new Ghostbusters movie and what did you think? And what was your favourite Ghostbusters movie? No judgment here. Let us know in the comments below what you think about the Ghostbusters new movie and all the movies. And how were you as pissed off with that monstrosity that they tried to reboot it with Thor? You can let us know in the comments below. Let us know everything. Who's your favourite character? What's your favourite line? Is there some sort of mushy feeling you get when you watch the Ghostbusters? Does it give you nostalgia feels every time you hear the music, every time you know it's coming? Let me know. If you like content like this, remember to go check us out in Confessions from the Darkside social media platforms on Twitter, which is X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, Buzzsprout. Let us know what you think on our social medias and let's get chatting about this topic, all the topics. Let's grow our community and spread how awesome the horror community is. If you want to get to know us as individuals, then you can check out our links below. I am Darcy Darkness and my channel is Behind the Mash Reviews. I have a YouTube, an Instagram, a Twitch and a Kick. Luna has a YouTube, a Twitch and an Instagram, and his name is Lunar X Rising. If you need to reach out to us at any point, we have email addresses. You can email the channel itself, which is confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com. I'm Darcy Darkness, and mine is behindthemashReviews@gmail.com, and the spelling is on screen. And Lunar is lunarxrising@gmail.com. And that was Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I am Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side. Later.